and welcome to this new topic area, grammar and syntax. So some of the questions in the NBT-AL will be based on grammar and syntax. Grammar is essentially your rules of grammar, the rules on how sentences are structured, punctuation, how the sentences are formed. And syntax is very much the arrangement of sentences. It's the structure of the sentences so that it makes sense. Now, the good news about this section is that it does not feature too strongly in the NBT, in the AL section. So you will be asked some questions, but not many. So I would not spend too much time on this section at all. And all the questions you're going to get about grammar and syntax are going to be related to the text above. So it's not just the function of brackets or the function of a comma. It's going to be in that sentence, what does this comma do? Or what do these brackets do? So it's very much related to the context of the paragraph or the extract above. I would go over some of your terminology. What are italics? What are parentheses? What are commas? But I would not focus on it too much. I would very much, this is about reading and about understanding why the grammar or the syntax exists within a sentence. And that said, we're going to go very much straight into a passage. So this is a passage, more of a comprehension passage, because you can see there's different paragraphs, and we're going to take a look at the question. So this passage is actually about the fascination with ancient Egypt, why ancient Egypt has been studied, why it's the source of so many books and movies. So the first thing, as with all academic literacy questions, is to read the passage and understand what it's trying to say. Then after you have done that, you will go down to question 1, which says the comma after pyramids in the second sentence of the first paragraph is used to. So automatically I would go to what? This is the second sentence of the first paragraph. Among the most captivating subjects in historical studies, ancient Egypt stands out, known for its pyramids, mummies, and pharaohs. Okay, so this is the comma that we're talking about. What does this comma tell us? It's known for its pyramids, mummies, and pharaohs. Now, as I'm sure you know, commas are used to separate various things, to link various things, but they have different functions. So in this specific case, the options that we can choose from are the comma after pyramids in the second sentence of the first paragraph is to separate a list of items, link two independent clauses, introduce a quotation, add unnecessary information. Now, automatically, when I read that, I look at D, I basically move straight to eliminating the ones that don't make sense. D, is it adding unnecessary information? Known for its pyramids, mummies, and pharaohs. So really, even if you thought it was unnecessary information, this is a passage that's already out there, and this is not about an opinion. So automatically, I would say no. Comma doesn't add unnecessary information, and it's not your call to make whether that's unnecessary information or not. C, does it introduce a quotation? I don't see any quotations, so automatically I can eliminate that. Okay, we go to B. B, does the comma link two independent clauses? Now, it is possible for commas to actually link different clauses, different parts of the sentence, but in this situation, is it linking two different parts of the sentence? Known for its pyramids, mummies, and pharaohs. If you look at this comma, there's a sentence that comes after it, and this is a kind of a linking comma. But this one is not, because it is a list. It's known for its pyramids, its mummies, and pharaohs. So very simply, we would, in this context, the purpose of this comma is to separate a list of items. The second question, italics are used for the term pharaoh in the first paragraph to indicate that it is an important term in the context. B, it is a technical term specific to Egyptian studies. C, it is a word of foreign origin. Or D, it represents something mythical. Now, it could be an important term in the context. It is a technical term specific to Egyptian studies. It is a word of foreign origin, and it does represent something mythical. So technically, all of these things could be true for the word pharaoh. But why are the italics used? And in this situation, specifically in the English language, italics are often used if it is a word of foreign origin. And so that is something that you would have to revise, and you may be able to find some of those things on the poster below. So automatically you know that all of these may be correct, but they are asking specifically about why the italics are used for pharaoh. And in this case, in English, we sometimes use italics to denote a word of foreign origin. So, wow, it looks like I've crossed that out. This would be the answer. I'm going to go to question 3. And these kind of questions are more common than questions about brackets or colons or italics. It's more like, what does this phrase serve to do? What does it tell us? So this is the most kind of common grammar question that you're going to get in the NBTAL. So the phrase, these stories captivate imaginations and inspire countless books and movies. So if we scroll up, in paragraph 2, it tells us about the allure of ancient Egypt. For example, the curse of the pharaohs, a supposed affliction that falls upon those who disturb the sacred tombs, is a mix of myth and reported incidents that fuels ongoing debates. These stories captivate imaginations and inspire countless books and movies. However, what often gets overlooked in the excitement are the daily lives of ordinary Egyptians. Okay, so what is this sentence? This one up here, these stories captivate imaginations and inspire countless books and movies, actually telling us? Let's look at the options. So the phrase serves to explain the cause of public interest in ancient Egypt. So after reading the paragraph, yes, maybe this mythical, the imagination, the books, the movies, maybe does explain some of the cause of public interest. Provide examples of Egyptian literature and film. Now, automatically, you know, if you've read the passage, that they do not provide examples of Egyptian literature and film. So automatically, you can eliminate this. C, list the effects of Egyptian myths on modern culture. Well, books and movies would explain why or how Egyptian myths have affected modern culture, this being books and movies, so potentially this. Suggests that the stories are not credible. I would eliminate that because these stories captivate imaginations and inspire countless books and movies. It's just suggesting that they're based on these myths, not necessarily that they are not credible. So I would automatically eliminate that. And I think this is a good rule for grammar and syntax questions in general, is that I would begin with eliminating the ones that simply don't fit and then going back to look. So I'm left with A and C, and I actually want to go back to the passage to have a look at what purpose this sentence may actually have. And in the first paragraph, if you're reading it again, it talks about how ancient Egypt fascinates scholars and lay people alike. So it's a cause of public interest, and it is a captivating subject in historical studies. So what they're building here is, if you look at A, it talks about the cause of public interest in ancient Egypt. So what's clear is that the cause of public interest in ancient Egypt is not books or movies, but the actual civilization itself. And it talks about people, researchers, lay people, academics, who are interested in the cause of public interest in ancient Egypt. So that phrase, even though this passage is explaining the cause of public interest in ancient Egypt, this particular phrase does not actually explain the cause of public interest in ancient Egypt. And so what it actually serves to do is listing the effect of Egyptian myths on modern culture, and some of the effects would be the inspiration of books and movies. Again, I wouldn't worry too much about the grammar and syntax questions.